Hello everyone, Maurice and welcome to Things Invest. Talk about investing, finance, special domain. For today's three terms only. The investment on top of today will be Coinbase. So with respect to Coinbase, the earnings call is expected to debut tomorrow after market hours. So I'm gonna go through a technical analysis to see how we're trending so far, as I've been getting some questions in the comment sections around, is it a good time for us to buy Coinbase right now ahead of earnings, or should we be kind of way off, a little bit, to see a sell off, subsequent to the earnings call, right? So stay tuned, Instagram, let's make some money. Alright, so moving on to the technical analysis for Coinbase, ticker COIN. I'm recording this up at 11:55 a.m. on the Eastern Time. Currently $2,076, up about 7.13% so far. So you could see that as of the recent time frame, and you could see that ever since the 3rd, which is on last Tuesday. We've been surging up ever since, right? And also, if you look back even further, ever on the 20th, we have been like kind of hovering back, right? Because of the B word summit that we incur, right? And then some positive news, basically anticipatory pressure ahead of the Coinbase earnings, right? So this is very logical, and I think based on some of the news that's been getting picked up today, that analysts foresee another 16% surge after the earnings. I think that's a little interesting. Based on we also need to understand the incentives around why they're saying that right now, knowing the fact that we've been surging quite enormously already, right? When we were at the level of $229, that was a resistance level that formed various times, right? You could count it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I guess, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So we formed that as a base, right? So the ideal time for you when you were for you to buy Coinbase was really at the bottom when we were at the on basically before the B War Summit effects that occur on the 20th, right? Which subsequently drive up the surging pressure across the board, right? So it provides a drag effect on the stock, obviously, and then we have some negative pressure, obviously, stem from the crypto regulatory dynamics that we've been experiencing from the Feds, right? With a couple of things, right? Firstly, the $1 trillion infrastructure bills revision on crypto assets. Number two is the Don Byers 58 pages of crypto bill that he's initializing, which is still going to go through some drafts and revision. And, obviously with Janet Yellen, putting the whole regular, financial regulator into one singular room, discussing on the plans for stable coins and other crypto assets going forward, right? So obviously with, when the Fed is stepping up, there could be potential margin compression across the board for crypto profitability. On both the commerce side, for exchange side, but obviously for investors like you and I as well, right? So I think with respect to earnings call, knowing the fact that we've been dragging up so much already, on top of the foreshadow of with respect to the Fed's news that have been percolating so far, on top of the London fork and some other crypto news, it seems like we've been kind of squeezing the momentum relatively sharply already, with a lot of obviously manipulations and media affectation at the same time. That the likelihood of actually continue to surge up, would be would be mitigated, as you further derate that, you know. So I think the momentum actually will cool down a little bit, and I think based on the Coinbase stock right now, it needs to cool down definitely. Whatever goes up really really fast, you have a gap as well. It means that you leaped up really really like your engine exploded, for you to have that inertia to propel up to above atmosphere basically, that whatever goes up really really fast comes down just as fast. And I think today we're just seeing the buy the rumor sell the news type of affectation, or buy the buy the prior earnings call and sell after earnings call type of affectation at the same time, right? MACD is highly stretched. We crossed that we had that golden cross on the 26th, basically after like the BWAR summit. And then we've been enduring the surge for a relatively sharp duration now. Like you can see, the RSI is highly overbought. So the 16% of surge is relatively interesting. I'm not saying I disagree with them, but I think the likelihood will be relatively low. We're ultimately in the business of risk mitigation, right? And I think the risk for Coinbase right now is relatively high. And I probably advise to probably way off a little bit because it needs to cool down. But I do understand why some people would be ideally want to be buying it today because of the media affectation, number one, the anticipated pressure, and ultimately you have to believe in the long-term vision for Coinbase, right? To be in that e-commerce, exchange platform, and also for one of the largest institutions for crypto exchange assets going forward as well, right? All right, just to recap on numbers and technical analysis again, right? Knowing the fact that we've been dragging up relatively for a long time now, ever since the B word summit, with some normalization with the crypto regulatory news that's been kind of mitigating the growth, right? I think the current level that we are at is not sustainable, and I think we should potentially see a sell-off after the earnings call, and we should probably hover back down to the $257, which will be the first resistance level that we've formed so far. But the more substantive level is the 246, and then the next level, which will be the 239, right? So it does have a relatively large spectrum of breakdown going forward, but knowing the fact that with a gap, whenever you form a gap that leaps up, you need to fill the gap. So that's something we have to be cautious of. We have to mute out basically all the news saying like, oh, it's gonna surge 16% after earnings call. We might, depending on institutional buying activities, right? But we don't have visibility into that. Ultimately, we are in the business of risk mitigation, and these are the levels that you should risk mitigate by dollar cost averaging wisely going forward in these frames of reference. Alright, so that's it for there. Respect my technical analysis on Coinbase, ticker COIN. Hopefully this is helpful. I don't have a price target for this because I don't want to misinform people if I don't have like a substantive understanding on the long-term vision and the discounted cash flow analysis, which I haven't done yet. So I will need to do it to give you guys more of a substantive answer as a price target going forward, right? But with respect to the technical analysis, the resistance levels are identified. So these are the levels you want to be using as a frame of reference for yourself to risk mitigate and risk manage going forward. So hopefully this is helpful, and stay tuned for this coming up. Take care. Bye.